Not in my experience. This is a sample one that I got recently. It's pretty awful. So I would use a service such as NutriCalc. So it's a subscription, but you can pay for just a month. Try it out and see what it's like. But you put your ingredients into their service, and they will then calculate all the labeling that you need based on the ingredients you put in, not on the product you put in. You don't put in a finished product, and you put in the contents of your product. So you put in flour, butter, sugar, whatever it is, and you put in the exact brand, and they will have on file the majority of ingredients that you need from the UK. Then you can put in your own new products if you want to. And it's very straightforward. You'll get a spec sheet. If you buy a new product, you'll get a spec sheet from the supplier, or you can ask them for one, and it will give you the nutritional breakdown that you need to put into NutriCalc to add that as an ingredient. So I've had to add a couple of odd ingredients in the past, and it's straightforward. But once it's in there, it's great. You fire in content, they will then output everything you need, and I mean everything. Front of pack labeling, it'll give you the traffic lights, which bigger shops like. It'll give you the obvious stuff, nutritional breakdown, your ingredients in the correct format, in the correct order, with the highlighting of the allergens. It'll give you your quid calculation, so that's a percentage. So if you say you make chocolate chip cookies, you got to prove that there's chocolate in them by saying exactly how much. So if it's 30% chocolate, you get in the ingredient list, it'll have a 30%. So these are shortbread biscuits. I have a butter percentage of 30%. It's all done for you by the software. There's a few people on Fiverr who say they make compliant labels for UK, FDA, various regulatory bodies. They all have different regulations, and they all have different nuances, and some of them have completely different allergens, so you can't make one label that fits them all. But if they say they make a label for your country, then tell them which country you're in and order up. So 11 quid later, I have this. It's wrong. It's wrong from start to finish. Now the calculations might be correct. I'll need to run through NutriCalc to see, but there's so many things wrong with it. You put that in the label, it'll get ripped down. Your environmental health officer will look at it and go, no way. If you put it out in the shops and it gets picked up and somebody looks at it and says, what's that? You're completely doomed. All your packaging is written off. You've got to reprint everything. So it's giving the serving size here. I'm going to have to go through a few highlights. I would need to go through it in detail against the regulations to check it again, but there's a few glaringly obvious ones which are awful. So amount per serving is correct, but you need to put in calories per 100 milligrams or per 100. So it's either grams or milliliters. So they put in their fat, sodium, carbohydrate with dietary fiber, sugars and protein. So that's correct, and that's the absolute minimum. That's the basics you can put on, but it's in the wrong order. So there's a regulation that says which order they have to go in, and it should be fat, carbohydrate, sugars, dietary fiber, protein, and then sodium. So they're the wrong way around. So that's a fail. The daily percent value is based on this 2,000 calories a day. So I think that's accurate for the UK. I think they use 2,000 calories, but that's not actually required. What should be in the table there more clearly is grams per 100 grams of fats, sodiums, and so on. The ingredients list then is completely up the left. So they've changed some of the names as well. So my spec sheet does not say milk and salt, or does not say cream and salt, it says milk, and milk should then be highlighted as an allergen. The word ingredients should be in bold, wheat should be in bold, all the allergens should be highlighted. Same thing. So they've also got chocolate liqueur. Chocolate liqueur is not in my recipe. So they also have an vanilla bean extract in water and alcohol. So that's something they've used from maybe something on their database, which pulls out a vanilla extract, and that's the contents of it. That's not in mine. So I don't know where they got that from. But you've got to use exactly the right brand. And I sent them the spec sheet. They had the detailed spec sheet from the ingredients, so they couldn't go wrong. I sent them the yield, the amount of product you get from a batch. So I had 1,100 grams, say, in a batch of cookie mix and chocolate chips. And I have spec sheets for the chocolate and spec sheet for the flour, spec sheet for the butter and so on. You put all those in together and you will then output an exact label. So many things wrong with it. So for 11 quid it's really cheap, but it's completely worthless because it's really wrong. So if you want to test somebody on Fiverr, especially when something is going to be a legality that'll get you into trouble, you get a complaint, you can't go say, oh, the guy on Fiverr said, doesn't count. You're the food producer, you're liable. So use a professional service, a UK based one if you're doing the UK. If you want to test somebody on Fiverr, get a report, spend a bit of money, it's 65 quid I think for the month, get a report, send exactly the same spec that you use on NutriCalc or wherever you go to, and send it to somebody on Fiverr. See what they come back with. If it's not right, don't touch them with a barge pole.